ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताका स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमो आचार्यपदाय निताय कृपाप्रदायिने गौरकथा धामदाय नगरग्रामतारिणे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुर्लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दिनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. So we will start and continue on with the Nectarian Mellows of Sri Radha Kripa Kataksha StavaRaja. We will start with text 6. Asheshahava bhavadhira hirahara bhushite prabhutashat kumbha kumbhi kumbha saustani prashasta mandahasya churna purna saukhya sagare kada karishya hamam kripa kataksha bhajanam. O goddess, decorated with a pearl necklace of bold amorous hints, O goddess as fair as gold, O goddess whose breasts are great golden water pots, O ocean of happiness filled with the scented powders of gentle smiles, when will you cast your merciful sidelong glance upon me? So continuing on with Sri Radha Kripa Kataksha StavaRaja, here Lord Shiva is glorifying the personal features of Srimati Radharani. He especially starts off by glorifying the pearl necklace that Srimati Radharani adorns, and her complexion, which is as fair as gold. Now, the first part where Lord Shiva is talking about the pearl necklace, and he's saying that it gives out amorous hints, bold amorous hints. What hints do we think, do we understand that Srimati Radharani's pearl necklaces give out? We all know that our acharyas explain so beautifully that every limb of Srimati Radharani's body that she decorates with different jewels, they are all meant for the ultimate pleasure of Krishna. So Srimati Radharani, she actually decorates every limb of her body just so that Krishna would notice. just so that she could give a message through each and every one of her jewelry. She can give a message to Krishna. Because when she comes in front of Krishna, she is by nature very shy. So there are a lot of things that Srimati Radharani is not able to say in words. But she very beautifully, very artistically decorates herself in such a way that Krishna understands each and every hint that Srimati Radharani is not able to speak verbally, but she gives out the message to Krishna through the way she decorates herself. So that is the reason why Lord Shiva is choosing to say that Srimati Radharani decorates herself just to give different amorous hints. Amorous means loving hints, loving messages to Krishna through the way she dresses herself, So one day it is explained that Krishna was wandering on the banks of Radha Kund, and he was hoping that Srimati Radharani would come. And he was actually with his dear cowherd boyfriend Subala that day. Only both of them had wandered away into the forest grove of Sri Radha Kund. And seeing both the boys alone, the pet bird of Srimati Radharani, Sarika, her name is Sarika, one of the pet parrots of Srimati Radharani, saw that Krishna is waiting for Srimati Radharani. So Sarika, what she did is that she started glorifying the transcendental qualities of Srimati Radharani. She started singing very beautifully each and every, and describing and glorifying each and every limb of Srimati Radharani's transcendental body. And she was glorifying in such a way that Krishna became intoxicated. And he came below that tree and he just almost fainted in ecstasy because he could visualize the manifestation of Srimati Radharani through the way that Sarika was describing Srimati Radharani. Sarika was saying that Srimati Radharani, before she even appears, her appearance, her audience is made known, just like when the king makes his appearance into the assembly into his own assembly, the Dwarpal or the person on guard, the guard makes an announcement, Hoshiar, the king is about to make an appearance. So he makes an announcement. So who makes an announcement before Srimati Radharani comes? It is the hint and the tinkling of Srimati Radharani's ankle bells that give the announcement, that make the announcement that Srimati Radha Thakurani is about to come. So the tinkling of her ankle bells, so beautiful tinkling, they kind of, spread at least a mile further, making the announcement that Sri Radhe is coming. So Sarika started by glorifying the lotus feet and the ankle bells that Srimati Radharani wears. And Sarika went on to explain that Srimati Radharani's lotus feet is so beautiful, and it is as soft as a white lotus. White lotus, the rims of the white lotus is tinged with red. So similarly, Srimati Radharani's lotus feet is white in color. She's molten gold complexion. Molten gold complexion, here also Lord Shiva is saying that she is as fair as gold. But gold, color of gold is actually yellow, isn't it? We all know that the color of gold is kind of goldenish. It's yellow in color. That's the luster of gold. But Srimati Radharani's color is not just gold. She's got a molten gold color. Molten gold means that the gold that is tinged with white, when you boil down gold, when you melt gold, it gives out a very, very, more brighter effulgence, and it's very, very, it's much more lighter, but it's very, very bright. So that is the complexion of Srimati Radharani. And that is why it is explained that she is as fair as gold. We'll talk a little bit more about the effulgences and the complexion of Srimati Radharani and Krishna in a little bit, but before that, let us see how Sharika was glorifying Srimati Radharani. So Sharika went on to say that Srimati Radharani's lotus feet is just like that of a actual lotus flower, white lotus flower, which has the each and every petal of the lotus flower is tinged, the sides are tinged with red. That is how delicate Srimati Radharani's lotus feet is, because she is molten gold in color. Her lotus feet is molten gold in color, but she also has a tinge of red on her lotus feet, which is her alta, the red dye on Srimati Radharani's lotus feet. So when she walks around in the forest, the creepers and the grass of the forest of Vrindavan, they also become so happy and blissful that Srimati Radharani today has chosen to come on me. Each of the blade of grass of Vrindavan just dance in ecstasy when Srimati Radharani places her soft lotus-like feet upon them. Sharika was glorifying like this, describing in detail about each and every leela, or each and every mood that all the creepers and the blade of grass of Vrindavan was going through when Srimati Radha Thakurani was passing by. So she described even the mood of the grass, that this is how the blade of grass feels. And that is the reason why Uddhava wanted to be a blade of grass in Vrindavan. His desire was that may I be a lata or a creeper or a blade of grass in Vrindavan, so that one day or the other Srimati Radharani and the gopis will put the dust of their lotus feet upon my head. With that desire, till today, Uddhava is residing in Vrindavan as one of the creepers in Vrindavan, as a blade of grass in Vrindavan. So this was the mood of the blade of grass when Srimati Radharani would step on them. And then he glorified the ankle belts, which make the announcement of her audience coming in, make the announcement that Sri Radhe is about to come. So everyone become alert and glorify and be ready to welcome. So it is just like not just she is announcing to the human beings, but she is also making her announcement to the creepers and the forest trees of Vrindavan. Because even the trees would actually become ready to welcome Srimati Radharani by showering fresh flowers. Like the wind would actually blow in such a way, Pavan Devta, Vayu Devta would blow in such a way that the flowers would, get agitated, and then they would sprinkle on Srimati Radharani as she would pass by a particular, flower-bearing tree. So in this way, the trees and the blade of grass and even the other living entities would become, alert and ready to welcome Srimati Radharani. So this was the hint that Radharani would give by her ankle bells. And then Sharika went on to explain that her waist belt, the belt that adorns Srimati Radharani's tender, sleek waist, that also has a lot of ankle belts. That also has a lot of belts, not ankle belts, but that also has a lot of belts, tinkling belts on her waist also. But the waistband the tinkling of the bells of the waistband, they announce themselves a little more when Srimati Radharani is in a little more closer proximity. The ankle bells give the announcement maybe a mile away, but the waist bells, they give the announcement when Srimati Radharani is very much nearer. So that way everyone becomes more alert that, okay, now Srimati Radharani is just about to make her appearance. So they get hinted by the waist bells of Srimati Radharani. The pearl necklaces that she adorns, they actually sway from left to right, when she walks. Because it is explained that Sharika was actually explaining that Srimati Radharani's way of walking, her gait of walking, will put to shame 1,000 swans walking together. Have you ever seen the way the swans walk? They actually don't walk, they sway. Swans sway when they move forward. So Srimati Radharani's walk is similar to that of thousands of swans together. That's how beautiful and how beautifully she sways. She just sways like that. She just doesn't walk. Just like how it is explained in Sri Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma describes that in the spiritual world, every word is a song and every step is a dance. So Srimati Radharani is a personification of that particular statement. So her walk is not just any kind of a walk. She actually sways. She dances. Every step is a dance for Srimati Radharani. So when she's swaying while she's walking, the pearl necklaces on her, all that adorn all the way on her chest, they sway from left to right. And when pearls collide with each other, they also give out a very beautiful, melodious kind of sound. So the pearl necklace, that sound announces her, presence at that very moment. That is the way that Radharani, the pearl necklaces show that Srimati Radharani is already here. She has come. She has finally made her appearance. So Sharika was going on explaining like this, and she was just about to describe the beauty of Srimati Radharani's lotus face, and hearing just till about the pearl necklaces, Krishna just immediately lost his consciousness. He just could imagine Srimati Radharani just coming, and he just fainted and he just lost consciousness, and he started falling on the ground, and he just started shouting, "Hey Radhe, when will you come? When will you come? When will I hear the pearl necklaces tinkling amongst each other so that I know that you are already here?" So Sharika, she, saw Krishna, lying down like this in such a helpless state. So immediately, Subala instructed Sharika, go and get your Thakurani, that Krishna is longing for her, go and bring her. So Sharika immediately flew away, and Subala was trying to bring back Krishna into external consciousness and saying, look, Radha is about to come. Look, can you hear the tinkling of her ankle bells? Look, she's coming. Just listen. That announcement has already been made. She's on her way. My Prana Sakha, please wake up. And then Krishna hears the tinkling of Srimati Radharani's ankle bells. She is coming. So then Krishna just almost kind of sits up, and then he hears her tinkling of the bells on her waist. And then Sri Krishna is just almost about to stand when he hears the pearl necklaces swaying to and fro. And at that time he just opens his eyes and he sees the personification of Srimati Radharani in front of him. And immediately they are, they unite and they enjoy amorous pastimes. beautiful loving pastime. So this is how Srimati Radharani gives the hints through her jewelry and makes announcements and gives different kinds of hints so that Krishna knows that Srimati Radharani is about to come. This particular pastime that I just narrated was very beautifully explained by Srila Radha Govinda Maharaj, so I just narrated it as I heard it from him. And regarding the effulgences, there was a lecture by His Grace Jananivas Prabhu in Sri Mayapur Dham on Radhashtami Day. Very recently, I believe it was 2016, Radhashtami, where Sri Jananivas Prabhu very beautifully talked about one point. He said that the effulgence of Srimati Radharani is that of molten gold. And the effulgence coming from Krishna is that of a bluish hue, bluish, it's blue effulgence. So many people, children sometimes ask us this question, that why is the sky blue? Kids have questions like that why is the sky blue? And the answer to that, Jananivas Prabhu explains, is that because Krishna's effulgence is blue in color. And when Krishna's effulgence is blue in color, so therefore, this universe is actually a manifestation of Krishna's effulgence. So Krishna's effulgence is what enlightens the sky, and therefore the sky's color is blue. It was so beautiful the way Jananivas Prabhu explained it, that the reason why we see the sky's color to be blue is because it is an effulgence coming from Krishna. And he said that Srimati Radharani's effulgence is that of molten gold, yellowish gold. And when both these effulgences meet, effulgence actually travels before. It travels all around. Before even the personalities meet together physically, the effulgences are supposed to be first meeting, Jananivas Prabhu explains. And he said that when Krishna's effulgence is coming, it's like a blue effulgence. And when Srimati Radharani's effulgence is coming, it's like golden effulgence. So then Jananivas Prabhu asks that what happens when we mix blue and yellow? What is the resultant color that we get? It is green. So therefore the forest of Vrindavan and the Mother Earth is actually green in color. It's lush green because it is actually the union of Sri Radha and Krishna. The effulgences of Radha and Krishna, when they meet, they become the green effulgence. They bring out green effulgence. That is why the trees and the blade of grass and all of these are the leaves and all are colored green because it is the union of Sri Radha and Krishna. So when Srimati Radharani and Krishna meet, their effulgences meet before them and bring out this green effulgence. So it is explained that when Balaram or the Sakhas, when they see a blue effulgence only by itself, then Balaram and the Sakhas, they go towards Krishna. But when they see a green effulgence, they know that Srimati Radharani is with Krishna, and therefore Balaram and the Sakhas, they don't disturb Krishna in the Madhurya Ras. But Balaram, he is present in every rasa with Krishna. He is always there in each and every rasa. So even in the conjugal rasa, in the Madhurya rasa, he is present as the beloved sister of Srimati Radharani, as Ananga Manjari. And it is in the forest grove of Ananga Manjari that Radha and Krishna, they enjoy most of their pastimes in the forest grove of Ananga Manjari, who is none other than Lord Balaram. So this is how Sri Radha and Krishna's pastimes of amorous, loving hints and loving, effulgences take place. So I thought that in this particular verse, where it is talking about the pearl necklace, giving out loving hints, where they're talking about Radharani's effulgence, I could bring out these points. Moving on to text 7. Manalavala Vallari Tarangaranga Dolate Latagralasya Lolanila Lochanava Lokane Lala Lulan Milan Manogya Mugdha Moha Nashrite Kada Karishya Sihamam Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam. O Goddess, whose arms are lotus stalks dancing on the waves, O Goddess, whose dark eyes are dancing wines, O playful, beautiful, charming Goddess, when will you cast your merciful sidelong glance upon me? So here Lord Shiva is glorifying the lotus-like arms of Srimati Radharani. This, whenever I read this particular verse, I'm reminded of the lotus battle, which is described by Srila Kavi Karnapura in Krishnanika Kaumudi. It is explained that around the mid-morning pastimes of Sri Krishna, Krishna goes to graze the cows with his cowherd boyfriend, but during the mid-morning, just before noon, just before his lunchtime, he actually slips away from his sakhas and comes to meet with Srimati Radharani and all the sakhis. He comes to meet with them. And when he comes to meet with them, it is explained by Srila Kavi Karnapura in this particular book, in Krishnanika Kaumudi, that what kind of arrangement Srimati Radharani does to welcome Sri Krishna. She actually, as was explained many times before, that they already decide a place, designated place is decided every day, and Srimati Radharani is informed about it, Krishna is informed about it, and they come together in that particular area, that particular designated forest kunja. They meet, that forest grove, they meet over there. And so before Sri Krishna comes, Srimati Radharani goes there with all her sakhis, and they all make arrangements for welcoming Krishna. So Srimati Radharani personally makes, because she knows that Krishna is coming after he is grazing the cows, so he must be really tired and especially thirsty. So she makes special drinks, flavored drinks for Krishna, at least 10 to 12 different kinds of fresh drinks made with fresh fruit juices, fresh forest flower juices she makes, and she puts them in different earthen pots so that it is nice and cool, and she covers it all with a lotus leaf so that it is nice and cool by the time Krishna comes. Those days they did not have refrigerator. So natural refrigerator, what they would do is that they would on the sandy banks of the Jamuna, where they would have nice shade of the tree, they would put water on the sandy ground of the Jamuna's shore, and Jamuna's banks, they are very sandy, and it's almost like a beach, white soft sand. So it gets cool very, very soon. If there is proper shade, it gets cool very soon, and it also gets heated very soon, just like what is the nature of sand. So Srimati Radharani, what she would do is that she would select a particular cool spot of the beach of Jamuna, and so the shade of the tree would be there, and she would pour some water onto the sand, and she would dig a little bit, she would pour water, then she would keep that water, that earthen pot filled with fresh juice, she would put it below in the ground, and then she would cover it with a lotus leaf. So by the time Krishna would come, the water would actually, the drink would really be chilled. The cooling nature of the sand would make the drink very nice and refreshingly cool for Krishna to enjoy. And Srimati Radharani would add different, scented powders like khas. Then she would make a drink with musk. Then she would make a drink with kevada. Kevada is fresh flowers. She would grind fresh kevada flowers, and she would make a very nice drink, flavorful drink. So like this, Srimati Radharani would make at least 10 to 12 different kinds of fresh drinks for Krishna, because she knew that he would be very thirsty by the time he would come. So they would make these welcome drinks for Krishna. And then Srimati Radharani would, arrange for different kinds of fruits, different kinds of fruit snacks for Krishna. And the fruit snacks, it would all be seasonal fruits, and there would be mangoes, there would be lychees, and the mangoes, Srimati Radharani, or the lychees, or the palm fruit. The palm fruit is something very delicate. Even lychees are very, very delicate. They're small and delicate. And Srimati Radharani, she would not just serve them, just cut and serve. No, she would not do that. She would actually do a lot of artistic work on each and every one of the fruit before she would serve them to Krishna. And she would decorate them on the lotus leaves. So the mangoes, she would cut them in the shape of, a conch or a Sudarshan chakra, like a chakra shape. She would cut the mangoes in different designs. And the lychee, she would take the seeds out from between, and then she would open it up, and then she would make designs on top of the lychee. And that's how it would be served on a separate lotus leaf. And it is explained that how on the little palm, the palm fruit, Srimati Radharani would make design just like a conch. So the palm fruit, it is, it has a weird, it's just like how you put two kidney beans together. It's almost like that kind of a shape that palm fruit has. So Srimati Radharani would actually decorate the palm fruit in such a way that it would appear like a conch shell. Such intricate designs she would make on top of the palm fruit. And she would personally carve them out. So much detail Srimati Radharani would put in presenting these different seasonal fruits to Krishna. So like this, she would have all the arrangements, and then Krishna would come, Srimati Radharani would offer all the drinks and the fruits to Krishna, and after, relaxing and having, being completely nourished by the love and the fruits and the drinks of Srimati Radharani and the Sakhis, it would be time for them to go into their playful water sports. They would go down into the Jamuna because it would be refreshing and cool for them, so they would just go down and enjoy some water pastimes. So when during this time they would go down into the water, at that time the Sakhis would divide themselves into two teams. Some would be on the side of Krishna, and some would come on the side of Srimati Radharani. And when Sri Radhe would see that there are some of them on her side and some of them on Krishna's side, Krishna would be smiling that, see, I have stolen your Sakhis, O Radhe. So then Srimati Radharani had actually already had instructed them that, so that Shyamasundara doesn't feel bad, you all go on the side of Shyamasundara. So Radharani is saying, yes, my Sakhis have become your Sakhis now. So Srimati Radharani, although she's the one who made those arrangements, she goes along with Krishna. She is, making Krishna feel that, yes, Krishna, you are winning my Sakhis over also, So she gives that pleasure to Krishna, gives that satisfaction to him like that. It is explained so beautifully. And then they slowly start frolicking. They have like a battle of lotuses. So the battle of lotuses, the way it goes is that they, Krishna's side of Sakhis and Krishna, they take one lotus, and it would be a blue lotus when Krishna would touch it. So the lotus would come in Krishna's hand, and Krishna would throw it on Srimati Radharani. And the way the lotus would be thrown is not just the lotus would be thrown. Krishna was so expert, he is so expert that he would dip the lotus in the waters of the Jamuna. So when he would throw the lotus, there would be a rain of shower, the Jamuna water, that would fall on Srimati Radharani and would completely drench her wet. And by the time that lotus would hit Srimati Radharani, that lotus, the complexion of the lotus would become pink. So this magic would happen, that a blue lotus would become pink by the touch of Srimati Radharani. And then Srimati Radharani, she was too shy to pick up a lotus and throw it at Krishna. So she would pick up a lotus, and that lotus would be pink, and she would hand it over to one of her Sakhis, because she would be too shy to throw it directly at Krishna. So one of the Sakhis would then take it and then rain it again on Krishna. And Krishna would again be drenched by the waters of the Jamuna coming through the lotus flower, and by the time the pink lotus would touch Krishna, it would become blue in color. So slowly, the Sakhis from Krishna's side, they saw that Krishna started becoming overpowering towards Radharani. He was alone trying to, overpower Srimati Radharani. So the Sakhis who had gone on Krishna's side, they all slowly came off towards Radharani's side because they couldn't see Srimati Radharani losing. And Srimati Radharani would not throw even one single lotus at Krishna. She was just taking all the lotuses upon her only. And then, when Krishna was left alone on one side and Srimati Radharani and the Sakhis on the other side, the lotus battle just kept continuing and continuing. And Srimati Radharani, she noticed that Krishna at one point was all alone. So she felt very bad. So then she immediately, slowly, through that battle of lotus flowers, she slowly slipped and she came towards Krishna. When she came towards Krishna, the Sakhis immediately understood that this is Srimati Radharani's mood, that she wants to go towards her beloved Shyamasundara. So then they just took so many lotuses, all of the Sakhis, then kept the divine couple in between, and they surrounded the divine couple and they just started showering, lotuses upon both of the divine couple. And when Srimati Radharani was showered like this with lotuses, she actually was, getting so drenched that, Krishna, what he did is he opened his long arms and he just enveloped Srimati Radharani in his arms, so she would be protected. And Srimati Radharani felt so protected in Krishna's embrace that she just forgot where she was. And then suddenly she just opened her eyes and she realized she was in the embrace of Shyamasundara, and she immediately starts to go away. When she starts to go away, because these lotuses were constantly raining on both of them, there were some bumblebees who were coming because they got intoxicated by the fragrance of the lotuses. So the bumblebees started coming. And some of the bumblebees, they mistook Srimati Radharani's face to be that of a lotus. So the bumblebees started coming towards her lotus-like face, trying to suck the nectar from Srimati Radharani's lotus-like face. And Srimati Radharani didn't know what to do, so she ran back to Krishna. And it is explained by Srila Kavi Karnapura that she actually now goes running towards Krishna and she wraps her lotus stalk-like arms around Krishna's neck just for seeking protection. She wraps her lotus stalk-like arms. So, this is how it is explained that, O goddess whose arms are lotus stalks dancing on the waves. So, and then she looks up at Shama Sundar, when she has her arms wrapped around Krishna's neck. At that time, she looks up at Krishna with her dark eyes, and their eyes meet, and then their ecstasies know no bounds, and then again the Sakhis are just showering the lotuses upon them. They continue enjoying their water pastimes like this. So this is the way that Srimati Radharani's arms are also just like lotus stalks. Have we seen the lotus stalk? It's not straight. Lotus stalks are never straight. They're very delicate. They can break very, very easily, but they have a very beautiful curve to them. They're very elegantly curved. So therefore, Srimati Radharani's arms are described to be that elegantly curved arms of the lotus stalk. So, and her palms are described like the lotus flower itself, her lotus palm, and the arms stretching below is like the lotus stalk. This is the beauty of Srimati Radharani. So with this, we'll end here. If there's any questions, comments, or reflections, we can take that now. I just want to end with one particular remark that Srila Prabhupada makes about Srimati Radharani. That Srila Prabhupada says in the Nectar of Devotion that to perform devotional service means to follow in the footsteps of Radharani, and the devotees in Vrindavan put themselves under the care of Radharani in order to achieve perfection in their devotional service. In other words, devotional service is not an activity of the material world. It is directly under the control of Srimati Radharani. In Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that the Mahatmas, or great souls, are under the protection of the Daivi Prakriti, the internal energy, Radharani. So being directly under the control of the internal potency of Krishna, devotional service attracts even Krishna himself. So Krishna is Madan Mohana and Srimati Radharani is Madana Mohana Mohini. She is the one who attracts, even the one who attracts the Cupid. And Srimati Radharani is described by Srila Prabhupada as Krishna's tender-hearted female counterpart. It's very beautifully talked about by Srila Prabhupada, how he glorifies Srimati Radharani. And in this particular lecture that I was hearing from Jananivas Prabhu, there was a question asked about Bhishma Pitama, that Bhishma Pitama was in chivalrous rasa, that he actually always meditates on Krishna being a Kshatriya, so he is always in that chivalrous rasa. But at one point in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that he also glorifies the gopis, love for Krishna. So the question asked was that how could this be, that in chivalrous rasa, how could he also be so deeply involved with the Madhurya ras? How is that possible? So is there any connection with Srimati Radharani having any trace of chivalry? That was the question asked to Jananivas Prabhu. And Jananivas Prabhu said that he has heard this particular point from Srila Prabhupada himself, who says that Radharani, I have never heard this before, but Jananiwas Prabhu said that Srimati Radharani, Prabhupada said this, that Srimati Radharani is known to carry a club. Srimati Radharani carries a club because she just beats away anything, because she's the protector of the devotees. So she is beating away any unnecessary, elements that come to disturb a devotee. She's very chivalrous in that way. And then one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada that Srimati Radharani is the epitome of feminism. She is so tender, she's so delicate. Then how can she have a club and she literally gets into chivalrous rasa? So then Srila Prabhupada smiled and said that a mother is capable to do anything to protect her children. She may be very tender, she may be very delicate, but she is also the most compassionate mother. She is Hara, whom we lovingly address as Mother Hare. So, out of love for her children, Srimati Radharani is said to be carrying a club, and she protects her devotees. I just also wanted to share this particular point that Srila Prabhupada has said about Srimati Radharani, so that when we are meditating on Srimati Radharani and her glorious qualities, that we know who she is according to the teachings that Srila Prabhupada has given us. So with this, I'll end here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Mahabhav Swarupini Srimati Radha Thakurani ki jai, ISKCON Vartaman Guru Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I would like to know a little bit about Nidhivan, because of late I was listening something about it, and a few of the people were saying that they don't even have windows towards the Nidhivan side, and after 7 o'clock everything is empty, and even the animal by themselves, they leave the entire place. I don't know what to think about it. I mean, they say that if anybody is left behind, and they either die or they go crazy because they see the dance. I don't know, Mataji, would you please talk a little about it if you have time? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you for your question. Yes, Nidhuvan is that special place that even till today Sri Radha and Krishna come, and there actually you can see it till today. If you go at around 6:30 in the evening, the pujari, they do the last offering, and they decorate. There's a little like a little cottage in the middle of that forest, and there the pujaris, they do all the arrangements, that they keep nice water jugs filled with nice fresh scented water, they keep fruits, they keep some sweets, they keep tambula, pan and tambula, and they decorate. There's a very nice bed. They put shringar items there, and they decorate the bed and spray flowers over it, and then they lock the door, and when by the time the sun sets, before the sun sets, they lock the place, and they leave from there. And even the monkeys and the birds, they also leave from there. And the next day morning, when the pujaris go in for doing the Mangalarti Seva, at that time and you can go there along with them, they allow that. And then they open the lock, and then when they open the lock to that room, they see that it looks as if the bed has been slept in. The flowers are strewn all over the place. The water jugs are empty. The sweets, and fruits are, feels like somebody has definitely touched them. The shringar items are all over the place. So the thing is that those who do not believe this, that Radha and Krishna do come there till today, some of them, they have histories. They say that in that place that there were 3-4 cases that they came there to see if it is true or not, that Radha and Krishna do come there or not. They say that some of them died, some of them became mad, some of them became blind, so many things. So it is because that, we actually discussed this with, some Guru Vargas, and they explain that when they see Krishna, they'll, those who are non-believers, they will go mad. Some of them might even leave their bodies. So there's nothing surprising to that. But the fact of the matter is that, yes, Vrindavan, and in fact every place, Krishna is not just limited to Vrindavan, but there are leelas that are happening all over the world. Krishna is manifesting there as Lord Nrsimhadev, protecting devotees. He manifests in so many different places, coming and protecting devotees all over the world. So why just Vrindavan? But in this place, in Nidhuvan, especially, Shri Radha and Krishna.
Sing Shri Radha Kripa Kataksha.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Munindra Vrindavandite Triloka Shokaharini Prasanna Vaktra Pankaje Nikunja Bhu Vilasini Brajendra Bhanu Nandini Brajendra Sunu Sangate Kada Karishya Sihamam Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam Ashoka Vriksha Vallari Vitanamanda Pasthite Pravala Vala Vallava Prabha Runangri Komale Varabhaya Spurat Kare Prabhuta Sampadalaye Kada Karishya Sihamam Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shri Radha Kripa Kataksha ki jai. Dandavat pranam. Astik Mataji ki jai.
Hare Krishna.